Hey, everybody. Well, I have a great guest today. Heather Tom of The Bold and the Beautiful is here. We have talked so many times through the years, and there's always an amazing milestone or something that's happened with you. Obviously, you're a six-time daytime Emmy winner. And now on this upcoming episode that we're going to see, you not only star, directed, wrote, so this is a whole shebang.
Yes,
Shebang.
the trifecta, if you will.
The trifecta. I don't think, have you done the trifecta before? Is this it?
No one's ever done the trifecta
That's
before.
right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
yeah, this was definitely breaking new ground, not just in daytime, but it's only been done a handful of times across any television platform. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, and I'm just so grateful that I was given the opportunity to do it. So it was fun.
So how did it come about? Did you pitch it? Did B&B pitch it because you're involved in all the teams of the show?
Yeah, yeah, I've been involved with directing and writing for quite some time. Writing I just started last year, but directing for last several years actually. And so I think Brad thought, well, in honor of my 35th year in daytime, which is bananas.
What?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Crazy. So in honor of that, why don't you do a show where you act and you direct and you write? And I'm like, all right, I'll play your funny game. So yeah, we developed the idea, and Brad, we kind of talked about like what we wanted the show to be, and we knew that we wanted it to only be female characters, and we knew that even behind the scenes we wanted to make sure that we were using our female crew members, and he was amenable to having it air during Women's History Month, which I thought was great and important, and it just added that extra layer of specialness, I guess. And yeah, and then it was just really about like working out the logistics because on daytime, in our genre, we have to be the directors in the booth to like snap the cuts, as the scene is going. But we
Right.
do,
Yeah.
yeah, we lay out all the shots, and I go through and I say, okay, I want a chest here and I want a camera move here, and everybody kind of gets in the same boat, and then you sit in the director's chair and you say, okay, here's camera three, here's camera one, here's camera two. And we then send like a rough, edit down to the edit. And so it's hard to do that if you're in the scene. So, what we did is I laid out the scene, I laid out my shots, I had, everything ready to go. And then I had one of our other female directors on the show, Jen Howard. She sat, knock over my smoothie. She sat in the chair and snapped the cuts. And so when we were rehearsing, I had a monitor that I could watch, and I could see all three cameras, and to kind of make sure that the shots were what I wanted, and make sure that we were all kind of on the same marks, and that we were really rehearsing the scene in a comprehensive way, so that everyone could feel comfortable that, when action was called, we could just let all of that go and be confident that the emotion was going to be captured, and we weren't going to have to worry about like the logistical, technical side of it. We could just worry about the performance.
So what can you tell me about what this is about?
Yeah, it's a show. It's about mothers and daughters, and it's within the context of the storyline, so it's not like a standalone episode, but we wanted to focus on our mother and daughter pairs. So we have, Taylor and Steffi, who are kind of in this like euphoric, triumphant state, and we're juxtaposing that with Hope and Brooke, who are just in, all
Shambles.
this
Yeah.
turmoil. Yeah. And so that's the dichotomy of the show, and that's the heart of the show. And we also have scenes with Katie and Donna where they talk about their mother who passed away, and I was able to kind of bring in a little bit of my mom, who I lost last year. So I that felt very special and very personal to me. Um, so I could, pay a little bit of homage to her, and the fact that I certainly wouldn't be in this position without her. Um, so that was very special. I was very happy that I was able to kind of get that in there. And we just I think that it's a very um bold and the beautiful way of telling a story, because we are a show that is so focused on women, and we are we're a matriarchal show if you think about it. Like Susan Flannery led our show, and Kelly Lane leads our show now, and it's just, I think that it feels like something bold and the beautiful would do. And I'm so grateful that Brad gave me the opportunity.
What do you think your mom would think about this? I think she'd be so, I think your mom, and I know your mom, I knew your mom, wonderful mom. She would be blown away, like, right? I mean, think
Yeah,
about it,
she would.
Heather.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, it totally makes me cry.
no, but it's so
But
it'd be
yeah,
as
she
sad as
would.
that is, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I
It
mean?
is. It is. And it's, I know that she would just be like floored. And she always taught us to like dream really big and work really hard. And that's what we do. And I'm so, like I said, I'm so happy that I was able to kind of um get a little bit of her in the show as well. And like kind of like, even like the Logan women are, we're the Logan women, and we are, we're a unit, a female unit on this show. And I felt like, you know, um, my family in a lot of ways is, we are such a strong family unit. I mean, we have my brother in there, so we're not totally
Well,
family.
there's him.
But we are such a strong family unit. And so I felt like it was nice to like honor that sense of family, that feeling of family, and especially the mother-daughter side of things.
It's like 19 minutes of show, right? There's like 19
Yeah,
minutes of the show.
yeah,
So is that proof difficult for you when you're writing a show? Like, is it like, wait, I have to con it because there's not a lot of time and you have to
yeah,
hit points within that time. Is it
yeah.
better, do you think, or worse that it's short as opposed to like a 39-minute hour?
Right, an hour show. Yeah. I mean, I think that it has its pros and cons, right? So the con is that you only have 18, 19 minutes to tell a story, but you have five of those. So you can stretch it out, if you need to, and you do, you can't tell a whole story in 19 minutes. But I think that the nice thing about it is that you do get these like little like bites, like these, it's like a little bonbon in the middle of the afternoon where you can just relax and take your 20 minutes of, guilty pleasure, and sink into somebody else's thoughts and problems and joys, for, just a little snippet of your day. And so it's really digestible, to continue with the food metaphor. So I think that, I think it actually works pretty well for our show. I think sometimes you have to kind of pick and choose your stories, and maybe that's difficult for Brad because he's the one who juggles all of this. I mean, when we write an episode, it's his story. We're filling in the blanks for him. So it's not like I'm writing story. I am part of the well-oiled machine at this point, and I'm having a great time.
Yeah, that was my question. We're used to seeing like, okay, there's going to be a Heather Katie storyline.
Right.
Like you'll usually have a big arc of a show, and because you're doing all these other things, you're not doing that, or we're not seeing that as much. Or do you think will we?
I mean, I don't think this precludes me from being in
Yeah.
any kind of like story. I mean, I serve at the pleasure of Brad. So, he uses me as much or as little as he wants to, and I'm fine with that. He has just been incredibly supportive of everything that I want to do. I mean, it's just kind of unheard of. I mean, he didn't have to do any of this stuff. And my husband always reminds me, he's like, yeah, but you do the job. And I'm like, I know, I can have both, I can hold both things to be true. I can hold that I'm capable and I do the job and I feel like I do it well. And then I can also be grateful for the fact that I've been given the opportunity, because without that, it doesn't matter how qualified I am. So it's just been really, honestly, like I'm so grateful and floored every day that I'm able to go in and say like, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Can I prove myself? And and if I do, will you give me the opportunity? And his answer has always been yes, which is pretty incredible.
This is mostly a female medium, I would
Mhm.
say, predominantly who watch the shows, who watch the
Yeah.
shows. How
It's a
how
female genre, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think the gay men watch it too.
I think the straight men watch it too.
I do too.
I've run
I
across
do
many
too.
a burly sports guy who
I
loves
do
his
too.
stories.
I do
So,
too.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I
I
think it's pretty universal.
I was just gonna say though, do you think it's how important do you think it is to have a female director in these scenes across the board on soaps, really directing, that's always been a thing. Like now there's more directors. I've
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that, I mean, honestly, if you think about it historically, daytime has always been female driven. I mean, we've certainly had our male creators, you have the Bill Bells and the Brad Bells of the world. But if you think about even like its origins, you had the Ernest
Erna Phillips and yeah.
Agnes Nixon's and if you look at how the shows are structured, our shows are matriarchal. I mean, they're led by women. We have Deidre Hall and Susan Lucci and Melody Thomas Scott and Jeannie Cooper. Like they're always like the roles, the person that leads the show, the face of the show has always been a woman, in my opinion. And Brad has been very instrumental about making sure that there are women behind the scenes as well. We have a female dominated directing team. I think we have more women on the writing team now than we do, on the men. I mean, I think that we certainly are equally represented. Behind the scenes, our crew, the people that sit in the booth. I mean, Brad is very conscientious about promoting from within and fostering talent and saying, hey, if you go, you pay your dues, you learn, you grow, there's opportunity for growth here. There's opportunity for you here. That's rare. Um, so I think that while this is has always been a female dominated driven genre, it also takes someone like Brad Bell who says, okay, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera, we're going to make sure that women are represented. And do I think that's important? 100%. I think it's not just important in our genre. I think it's important, across society. So, yeah, 100%. I think it's important. And I'm very grateful to be working for a man who feels the same way.
How was doing this episode, your episode with, Catherine Kelly Lang and everybody? Did everybody like have anything? Were they giving you kudos or like, why am I saying this? And what am I doing?
Well, what I will say is that if anyone ever has any issue with something that I've written, I'm certainly open to, I mean, like I said, it's not my story. I can't change story, but if there's a line that somebody doesn't love, then like let's figure it out. I'm not a I'm not there looking at every and the. But I think everyone in this, I mean, everyone's always been supportive. I didn't really know, like when I first started directing, like how it was going to go down, like if I'd get pushback, if there would be people who would, you know, not like the idea. And bar none, I have never had any kind of pushback. I've never ever felt unsupported. I've never ever
Great.
felt like, through cast and crew. And with this, I think everyone realized that this was historic and they completely supported me in it. And I think and I hope that they know how important they were to this, that it wasn't just my accomplishment, it was theirs as well. And so, um, I think I felt that on the set, that everyone realized like, okay, this is something special and it's something cool.
Just to wrap up, I just want to say, with this incredible milestone of the many years you've been in daytime here,
Mhm.
what do you think now, like, when you were the teenage girl that
Yeah.
like looking back at this? What would you say to her to now? Like, I don't, did you even envision, or were you always driven like your mom, like said? Or did you ever envision, like, what did you envision for yourself as a teenager on Young and the Restless as a Victoria Newman to now this?
I know. I mean, it's been such a long journey and it feels like it's gone by so fast. I mean, I never dreamed when I signed my first contract on Young and the Restless that I would still be doing this 35 years later, much less writing and directing, doing all three. So I just think that yes, to answer your question, I have always been driven just like my mother. So that I knew I would be doing something. And I always wanted to, I was always curious about storytelling and wanting to tell stories and wanting to write stories. And then, and there's something very exciting about directing where you have like a vision in your head and then you can kind of see it come to fruition, which is incredibly exciting. But I never fathomed that I would have a career that lasted, you know, 35 years and hopefully longer. Like I'm not done yet.
I just can't believe it's
But
35 years. That
I
means
just
I
can't
must
believe
have
it's
been,
35 years. I
so
just
then
feel
I
like
must have
I'm
been,
not.
so I must have been 10 when I met
Yeah,
you.
right. Yeah, I know. I was a
That
Zygon.
really ages me.
I know. Don't do the math, but I just it's kind of it's mind-blowing and I feel just incredibly again, I just can't say enough how lucky and how much gratitude I have because it's no one works for that long except for people in daytime. It's the best
Time.
gig in the world.
All right. Well, thank you, Heather, so
Thank
much.
you.
Everybody, watch Heather's special episode Thursday, March 27th on The Bold and the Beautiful. It is great, as always, to see you, and congratulations on all of this. Really
Thank
great.
you so much. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.